you're coming to the Hong Kong Book Fair, and you're going to appear in a forum, both at the Book Fair and the Hong Kong University. You have written on many subjects, pretty heavy stuff. I mean, we're talking about Stalin, Catherine the Great, Potemkin. Do you think that those are the only subjects who interest you, or for some reason they attract you much more than anybody else because they were Russians?
Well, the great thing about the great characters of history is that everything about them is interesting. Even their laundry lists or the colour of their underwear. And that's true of a certain number of kind of incredible characters. Whether it's Stalin or Churchill or Lincoln and those people. So it's nice if you're writing one of these books, which is several years' work, to choose one who is everything about them is interesting, because otherwise you're going to die of boredom researching it.
Well, I know, because you've written 2 other books as well, one on heroes and then one on monsters.
Yes.
And so you've really covered quite a number of extraordinary people in history, and you must have found them fascinating, as you say, in the way they lived in their ordinary lives. Yeah. Is that what intrigued you?
No, everything. What interests me is how power works, how courts work, how power is transferred. So these are all kind of court histories. They're all about how power worked in a personal way, and of course you understand that in China.
Mao appears in your book.
Mao appears.
Dowager Cixi appears in your book.
Yeah, and Mao, of course, appears in my Stalin book. Their relationship was extremely touchy. And then if you throw in their relationship with Kim Il-sung, for example, a sort of subordinate courtier. So, for example, the beginning of the Korean War is a fascinating time, and how that worked, and Mao's visit to Moscow in 1949 and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, personality is really important. Of course, there are great movements in history, great ideologies, symphonies of ideas, but actually, I think you'll agree, David, that personalities actually have the power to change history, and that's what my books are about. Whether it's Catherine the Great or whether it's, but also I write about Jerusalem, which is also another very troubling subject.
I mean, you don't avoid small subjects, do you?
No, I like big subjects.
Yes.
And at the moment, I'm writing a history of the whole of the Romanov dynasty, from Ivan the Terrible, who married the first Romanov to rise to prominence, right up to Nicholas II, and on to Stalin and Putin, sort of looking at Tsardom generally. So it's another big subject.
But you've also done television in recent years. Is that a easy crossover from writing?
Not really. I mean, television's completely different, but it's much easier than writing a book. I mean, nothing's as much hell as writing a book. I mean, writing Jerusalem, I barely slept for weeks, because everyone tells you about Jerusalem, for example. If Jewish people say, if you deny that King David existed, we'll never speak to you again. Palestinian people say, if you don't mention this or that, we'll never speak to you again. So it's very kind of stressful. While television is hard work to do, but actually it's very satisfying, and it reaches a lot of people. And I'm just doing a history of Spain at the moment.
You've also written a couple of novels. Were they diversions, deliberate diversions, or they were means of relief from your pressures of?
No, I love writing novels. I mean, my novels are really, my books are all about power. So my novels are all about love. And love is a terribly important subject. And I love to write about love. I believe in love. I'm a romantic. And they're all about sort of marriage, adultery, but set in Soviet Russia. So there's a kind of jeopardy. Like, if things go wrong, you can be shot. Well, most of us would just get divorced or sent to Coventry by our friends. But in Stalinist Russia, you can die from these things.
Well, I hope that when you come to Hong Kong, parochial as we might appear in the shadow of great Soviet Union and Russia, we might, however, stimulate your imagination enough for you, perhaps in the future, to base a novel or a biography on a Chinese character.
On you, David. That's a good idea.
I'm a mere cockroach. I don't think you have material for that.
No, I'd love to do, but Deng Xiaoping and Mao and all sorts of fascinating, always fascinating. But anyway, it's so nice of you to have me. Thank you. I can't wait to come.
We're greatly looking forward to seeing you and other friends of ours, and see you in the middle of July at the Hong Kong Book Fair.
Can't wait. Thank you.